Waging War on Corruption. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, a rare interview, extremely enlightening. We're talking to the former head of Pakistani intelligence, the ISI. I want to thank Paul Watson, who we've got on the line, who's going to pop in with a question or two. I want to thank Simon over in the UK for getting us this number, and I want to thank Aaron for staying up late last night to get the producing job done to get this interview right here on the GCN Radio Network. General, continuing with motive, I have the headline here: Pakistan asserts hoax war call was real. Press minister fingers India High Commission as source of reports that threatening cell call was fake. As you know, this is in most of the major Pakistani papers. The government has the caller ID and the phone records that the threatening call saying that India was going to attack within minutes of the terrorist attacks beginning in Mumbai a few weeks ago, this provocative call within minutes saying India was going to attack Pakistan, attempting to get Pakistan, I guess, to move troops to the border and have a conflict. And the media is saying that a possible war between the two thermonuclear powers was narrowly averted. Can you speak to that?
Yes, indeed. I think the Americans and the Indians both have been very responsible about it, because Condoleezza Rice's statement in India, when she went and visited Delhi, they were very threatening towards Pakistan, and it was sort of a dictation that you have to satisfy India. Now, this is amazing that Pakistan had to satisfy India. On what score? Indians have still to come out with the evidence. And as far as this one man that they have caught, who knows that this is not a bogey and that this man was loitering around somewhere. There are lots of Pakistanis who cross the border illegally or legally, and he could have been picked up, and he's become the front man for singing all those stories. So one doesn't really know. It's too early to start threatening war against Pakistan, because Pakistan is a nuclear country, and if they brandish their power, conventional power, then I can assure you that as a soldier I will say that a conventional war, limited war within the nuclear environment is not possible in the subcontinent. And if it comes to exchange of nuclear weapons, then this becomes the Third World War. China cannot stay out. Russia will not stay out. Russia is already showing its belligerence towards America and Europe. And China, of course, is a very major economic power. They are a nuclear power, and if this thing happens in their backyard, they will not accept it. So this is a very dangerous situation. I think it's playing with the fire. So the whole thing is could get out of hand. It is, again, as I told you, that the part of the unfinished agenda that newcons had in their mind, and they think that now Obama will carry it out, even though the American... I was actually in charge of operations against the Soviet occupation of Afghanistan, and the Americans were providing the logistic support, and Saudis were sharing one half of the budget for this war, and it was a cheap war, because in all those 10 years that we were fighting the Russians, we spent not more than $5 billion out of the American exchequer. So it was a very cheap war for the Americans to have defeated the Russians and rid the whole of the West of this red menace that they used to call. So at that time, Osama bin Laden and his colleagues, they were admired and they were romanticized by the CIA operators. I had never met him then. I had nothing to do with him, because I was only busy training the Afghans. We had to win a war. We had a task on our hand. It was a very big task. And we were so occupied with the training only the Afghans. No other national was trained by the ISI. I can vouch on that. Not a single person, not even a Pakistani, was trained by them. Osama bin Laden was, I had never met him, but these people used to come and talk glowingly about him. I met Osama bin Laden after my retirement from the army in 1993, December, in Khartoum, and then again in year 1994, November, when I was there invited by Hassan bin Turabi to an international conference, and during that conference, Osama invited us to a banquet, and it was all in an open place, and where there were many other people present. He struck to me as a very normal human being, not a bloodthirsty animal that is being presented by the CIA now. At that time, no conversation between him and me took place. I don't know whether he's living or dead, but so far, Aman al-Zawahiri has been representing him in various interviews of Osama that have been put out. So one doesn't really know, but the last interview, which was a voice interview, in that the CIA and the other U.S. intelligence agencies authenticated that it was Osama's voice. So one doesn't really know whether he's living or dead.
Well, sir.
But even if he's not living, he's now a symbol. Al-Qaeda is a franchise. Whoever created that, and for whatever reason they created, I think it wasn't there until 1996 when he was lodged in Khartoum. Later on, he was invited by Burhanuddin Rabbani, who is now part of the Northern Alliance in Kabul. And he came over and he set up his headquarters in a place called Tora Bora near Jalalabad. But that's where one started hearing of Al-Qaeda and the activities of Osama bin Laden. And also of the fact that his commander was responsible for bringing the Black Hawk down, the famous operation in Mogadishu, where an American aircraft was brought down by a Stinger, which had probably been supplied in Afghanistan to Afghan Mujahideen.
Okay, General, I need to, in the time we have left here, because we've only got a few minutes left with you here, maybe 5 minutes and we're going to break, and I don't want to keep you any longer. We can perhaps have you back up in the future. Specifically, though, we know his CIA control name was Tim Osman. We know he was the bag man for a lot of the Saudi money and the Israeli money going in. I know that was compartmentalized and separate from Pakistani intelligence from what I've read from different perspectives and U.S. intelligence. So I believe you there. My whole point here is that clearly Al-Qaeda, Al-Qaeda didn't carry out the attacks of 9/11, as you yourself have said. And bin Laden, in his first interview, said that he didn't do it. Then they produced these computer-morphed videos and fake audios that have been checked. And the Intel Center, headed up by Rumsfeld's former lieutenant, the private group, was caught putting the same video layer in with the original video. So it's been proven that they're creating these fake videos.
Yes, there is no doubt about it, that this video, which was put out in November by George Bush and said this was Osama bin Laden, he was a high cheekbone, like the Mongoloid features. He wasn't as tall as Osama bin Laden was, and one could clearly make out that this was doctored, this had been created on purpose just to justify the attack on Afghanistan. I think there are many things which are going wrong or being done on behest of the government by the CIA, which are not correct. The CIA used to be good when they were working with us, but I don't know what happened thereafter. Well, I think it is their overarching ambition, or it is their fear that America would lose its clout, whatever the reason, or it is perhaps the Israeli fear that they are surrounded by a sea of hostile enemies who could, if the Americans don't now, at this point in time, they don't deliver a fatal blow to all their enemies, then Israel, who have a short shelf life, otherwise also because it is an artificial state, that they would probably not exist, or they would have...
General, as you know, they have, in the time we have left, they have over 400 nukes. They have total dominance. No one could attack them with nukes. They have the anti-missile defense systems. I believe it's a red herring that they want to start World War III for their, quote, safety. It's World War III that will destroy Israel.
Yes, indeed, and I think this 2006 September experience, I think if it is any indicator for them, when they went into southern Lebanon and they got such a buffeting at the hands of Hezbollah, I think they dare not do something like that, because this would mean annihilation of Israel. And in any case, this Palestinian question is a very thorny question, and I don't know why the U.S. administration is not addressing it differently.
Okay.
Instead,
we're almost out of time. 2 final questions, and I'm going to let you go. And you can any websites, any books, any materials you'd like to point people at to see your side of the story. We'd love to see it. 2 questions. Let me give them both to you and then answer them, please. Number 1, why are they trying to now list you as a terrorist? A, when they admittedly worked with you. B, why do they always betray people like Saddam, who they worked with and set up? So A, why are they trying to now set you up? B, where do you see the Pakistan-India situation going?